Well, that was quicker than I expected. But first, some credit is due. Thank you very much to Nerf for sending this product out to me months ahead of its actual release date, but a special thanks is due to Out of Darts for being the one who made this even happen in the first place. Honestly, I don't know if Nerf would have sent this out to me had Luke not put my name into the hat, so thank you very much for that, Out of Darts. And despite everything, there's stuff here to be excited about, and we're gonna go on this journey together from the very beginning. Yes, after years, Nerf has finally released a half-dart shooting blaster with pro-level performance. Right there on the box, 150 FPS, they know who this is for. And yes, this is literally a Strife with a mid-season upgrade. Includes eyewear and a rechargeable 3S LiPo battery. That is huge. That is absolutely the singing feature of this blaster. And it is in fact semi-auto. Protective eyewear, 30 half-length AccuStrike darts, or Pro AccuStrike as they're calling them, and a 15 dart magazine. And yeah, it's incredibly similar to the original Strife that came out a decade ago, which is a super cool idea from Nerf to take one of their most popular beloved blasters of yesteryear and bringing it up to absolute modern standards. Grip first. Oh, that's a weird smell. That's a Strife. That is amazingly a Strife. That's even down to the access door. Yeah, just about everything is the same if you look at the overall silhouette. Rails are different, there is no N-Strike barrel lug, which I think is a massive mistake from Hasbro. Mag release is different and in a different spot. Not sure about that one. There's a trigger safety lock right there, which is incredibly difficult to manipulate. Holy crap. The grip is filled in, which makes it incredibly more comfortable and is a common mod for the Strife. The motor cage area is bulged out a bit on the Strife X, presumably for bigger motors. And most importantly, the battery tray area is completely different, and this is only compatible with the battery that comes with the Strife X. Here is in fact the magazine. Nothing special here, pretty standard magazine actually, which is pretty cool to see from Hasbro. 30 of their new darts, and we'll take a look at these in a second. Ah, you're sneaky, you thought you could get away with it, but now I got you! You better subscribe or the Nerf Comlink 2 will get it! So generic safety glasses, a USB-C to USB-A recharging cable, because yes, the battery does charge via USB-C. That is very similar geometry to a Talon mag. And yeah, that works pretty good. It's a very tight fit. It is, there's no wiggle room there at all. And the trigger feels a little bit better than normal, but it's not like a night and day difference. Otherwise, yeah, it's a Strife. This is the battery for the Nerf Strife X, and it is a LiPo battery. You know those things that you've been avoiding getting because they're kind of spooky? That requires a specialized charger and handling instructions to make sure it doesn't explode, catch fire, and burn everything down? Yeah, this is one of those, but with all the technology and safety requirements built into it. It simply clicks into your blaster like that, and that is the side profile. And to remove it, it's just like what you got on the Perseus. You press that button down, you pull that forward, and you can unlock the LiPo. And once it's locked in there, it's not going anywhere. All right, I haven't charged the LiPo yet, but for initial rev test. And that's what a LiPo does. And I'm suddenly reminded of years of experts telling us that LiPos are not the best battery chemistry for Nerf, and we should be using these other weird batteries. And Yet here Hasbro is using LiPos! This thing spins up practically instantly, and that's the power of a LiPo battery. That's why modders have been using LiPos for so very long, to the point where even Nerf is using them now. And I don't know how well you can see that in there, but that is a very tight flywheel cage with concave flywheels. So this is the exact same setup that you would get in a lot of hobby-grade blasters. Maximum surface area for those fast-spinning wheels to impart as much energy into a foam dart as fast as possible. And here's how you charge your Nerf Pro Strife X battery. Step 1, get your battery. Step 2, get your USB-C cable. Step 3, plug that USB-C cable into power. Step 4, plug your USB-C cable into the battery. Red means it's charging, but when the light fades from its eye, you're ready for action. And that's it, that's everything. Load up your magazine and you are ready to play. Of course, you should charge your LiPo before you do anything, but theoretically you have a modded Strife right out of the box. And while we're waiting on that LiPo to charge, let's take a look at our 30 Pro AccuStrike rounds, because, well, this is a big deal. It's short darts officially from Nerf. This is an Adventure Force Pro Dart from Walmart, and while they're not exactly the greatest dart ever, they are the most accessible and they're good enough that you probably won't care. And this is the new Nerf AccuStrike Pro Dart, which is a Nerf AccuStrike dart, which they haven't made in a very long time for some reason. But real quick, just to make sure, will this thing shoot an Adventure Force Pro Dart? And this is the first dart I'm shooting out of Nerf's blaster, and I'm sorry for that one. But we really need to make sure that you're being cross-compatible. Yeah, that worked fine. You can hear that pop, too. That was incredibly nice. I wonder which one Crony's better and which one's more accurate. Good thing we can test both of those things right now. You know what time it is. Freddy time. Freddy is a chronograph, and he measures the velocity of things in feet per second. The average velocity of a stock Nerf Strife from a decade ago is about 70 FPS. But this is the Strife X, so let's see what it can do. 173.2. 167 even. 156.9. 166.1. 165.9. 162.3. 171.7. 171 even, 160.9, and 160 even. Yeah, so that was higher than the 150 FPS they show on the box. All right, let's test those accuracy claims. Now, this is a flywheeler. I do not expect it to be very accurate, but that was one of the claims to fame for the darts that come with the Nerf Strife X. So let's just see how good it really is. I've got a simulated target down range. Closer to the bullseye, higher the score. Typically a decent blaster gets around a 75. Exceptionally good blasters get around an 85. 10 shots, I don't have any sights, but trust me, I know my way around a Strife. 66, which is, I want to say all those accuracy numbers are generally what springers will do. So 66 isn't quite bad. That means that an open target pretty far away, I wouldn't have much of a problem hitting it. If it was somebody behind cover and they only had a little part of them exposed, it would be a different story. But the whole point with flywheels are, you put a lot of foam down range real quick. .59. So, it's about standard flywheel accuracy, to be completely honest. I don't really feel like this is much more accurate, but let's see how it does with standard Adventure Force Pro Darts for our final test. I got a higher score. I don't really know if that's more accurate. One more test. Well, actually, it does feel more accurate with AF Pro Darts. interesting. All right, so first things first, we're gonna remove our battery here. This is secured with like triangular security screws. So they really don't want normal people just opening these up and destroying a LiPo. But the rest of the blaster appears to be standard Phillips head screws. And we are in. That was relatively painless. And looking in here, nice big beefy micro switch for the rev trigger. That's why it sounds and feels so much better. It is remarkably better. I really want to know what these motors are about, and more importantly, is this a standard Strife flywheel cage? Because I will be so surprised if it is. There we go. Oh, that's the release mechanism for the battery. Okay. So here's a Pro 180 motor. If I were to put that right there, yeah, but there's nothing else in here, and these don't look to appear to be super special awesome motors by any description. Oh, this is fun. I found a Heston Systems Typhoon cage that I put XP 180s into and then never did anything with it. But this is a Strife cage with 180s. Oh, are you kidding me, Hasbro? It's off by the same posts are just off by a couple of millimeters. That is sad and ridiculous. Also, I just want to point out that this front piece right here is part of the shell. So any kind of cosmetic kit that slides over this bottom rail here is, well, there's gonna need to be modifications somewhere because you can't just take this piece off like you could with the original Strife. It's still vaguely the same shape, but mounting points are moved and stuff has been added on the Strife X. So none of the existing kits are gonna drop right into this one, which is another big unfortunate thing. Hey, I actually got the battery apart. It's secured with triangular screws, but I did get it thanks to Amazon overnight delivery of a screwdriver set, and here's your battery. I mean, I don't see anything other than a real standard, like bog standard 3S LiPo. I got a few, and it's all soldered to this board here that I think my Kamen Rider toys have more things on them, but I'm sure there's somebody in the comment section who's like, oh, yeah, you see that right there? It's made out of pure Gundanium. That's why it costs $120. But for real, I kind of regret opening this now because the battery is the best part of the blaster by far, and I thought all the magic was in the battery, and I mean, I mean, it works. Well, look at you, Nerf. You came out of nowhere, and I quite mean that literally. This was not a thing that was revealed until Out of Darts did it, and made the blaster of our dreams something that we've wanted for so very long. And the loving detail into keeping this to look like a Strife, let alone a modded Strife, needs to be commended. There was obviously a specific goal in mind for that, and I love how it was executed. The battery is absolutely awesome. You don't have to worry about caring for your LiPos. You don't have to really do anything but plug it in via USB-C and balance and charge and safely store your life. This is really, really important. And the performance is definitely there. For competitive players, which is kind of what this blaster is made for, you don't really want full auto or burst fire. You want a mechanical semi-auto. You want basically the fastest response time that you can get your hands on. And that's what the Nerf Strife X is. It's a worthy upgrade from the original in pretty much every way. There are some nitpicks, the weird rails, the muzzle not having the N-Strike barrel lug and stuff like that, but everything else is pretty freaking good. If this was like a $60 blaster, and this is where I just can't win. I know that those involved with the development of this blaster poured their love into it, and they did such a good job. But it feels like somebody else came along and was like, oh no, we'll finally make those short dart blasters that people are crying for, and we'll let you finally do that project you wanted to do, but it's gonna be really expensive, so when it fails, we're gonna blame the fact that these short darts are just too expensive and nobody wants it, and the hobby is just a vocal minority, and we could shelve this thing and go back to making more Roblox blasters. Because $120 for this, no matter what mental gymnastics you have to do to convince yourself that's a worthwhile price point, absolutely insane. This, as a $60 blaster, would be a slam dunk. As an $80 blaster, it would be a worthy adversary to the Dart Zone Omnia Pro, because that is a blaster that will hit upwards of 150 FPS, has a rechargeable battery, has select fire modes, and is a very similar form factor, including a stock. And you get all of that for $90. And the worst part is, this just feels like a $20 blaster, because trust me, we've opened it up. There is nothing special in this sauce at all, coupled to a $100 battery. And the problem with that is, this doesn't feel like a $100 battery. And the small changes Hasbro could have done to make this more worth your while as a consumer at a $120 price point, the reason why I took this apart is because I wanted to show people that it has potential to be a fundamental replacement for all of the LiPos we currently use in the hobby. Every design coming out could have this connector on it and use this battery, and that would be a utopia. And people are making the arguments that, well, buying a LiPo is like $20 and buying a LiPo charger is like 30 or 40, so the prices add up. No, because you can use that LiPo with literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of other blaster designs. But if you already have a Strife and you hold these things next to each other, they feel and look almost exactly like the same thing. Meanwhile, if you were to spend that money on practically anything else, you would get a lot more for it. So my official recommendation here is that just watch it, and if it goes on sale for under $80 US, I would definitely pick one up. If you absolutely have to have that mechanical semi-auto feel, then burn your $120 on a Nerf Strife X and you'll probably be pretty happy. And Hasbro, I am warning you as a massive fan, and I do mean physically massive, I cannot wait to see what you come up next with Nerf Pro.